Hey, folks, this is Coach Roger coming to you live, and I appreciate all of you. You get to ring the victory bell for being here and being so amazing. And you know who else is also amazing? My next guest. Her name is Wendy Corner, founder of Your Words Have Power. She transforms business authors and TEDx hopefuls into captivating speakers. With 30 years in speech pathology and a role as a TEDx Speaker Coach, Wendy's unique framework connects body, mind, and spirit. A, 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 a digital nomad. She's drafting her book, My Life with 20 Kilograms. Why 20? Because that's what you travel with. While empowering voices globally through her hashtag From Page to Stage podcast. Now, which I'll be joining in the future. So, Wendy specializes in helping business owners unlock clarity, abundance, and a purposeful life. So without any further delay, let's welcome the amazing, the super beautiful, super talented, yes, I said talented twice, the one who walked to school uphill both ways in the snow, barefoot, the one, the only, Wendy Corner. Welcome, Wendy. How are you doing today?
Hello, Raja. I'm doing very well, thank you. Very well.
Oh,
so excited to be on your show.
Thank you so much. And if you want to be thought of as amazing and nice too, click the link down below, facebook.com/StreamYard. Hit accept. That way, Facebook and StreamYard can become best friends, just like me and Wendy are also. So, without any further delay, let's dive right in. So, Wendy, I want to ask you, what was your earliest memory, and how did that meaning attach and shape that event in your life?
Very good question. This is a memory that only surfaced around 50 years after it happened. The earliest memory was of double doors closing with a little 2-year-old on one side and mother on the other. Back in the 60s, parents were not allowed to stay in hospital with their children, and I needed surgery on my finger. So mum had to stay away, and the little 2-year-old was yelling and screaming for Mommy, and she couldn't come to me. And the decision I made at that point was, my voice doesn't matter. Everybody else's does. So how that shaped my life going forward was, as you already explained in the bio, I became a speech pathologist so that everybody else's voice mattered. And I wanted to make sure that nobody else went through that same my voice doesn't matter feeling.
Gotcha. Oh, man, I love that because like right now in Toastmasters for the 2025 season, as an area director, our theme is you have a voice. And I thought, how much more of an appropriate theme can we have for that? That's fantastic. Now, what has been a pivotal moment in your life and what changed as a result?
Oh, there have been a few, but the probably one of the most impactful ones was about 15 years ago. In fact, 15 years ago, and where are we? Do the maths, Wendy, quickly. 17 days ago. The 3rd of August, 2009, I came home from work, my first day back at work after having had a fortnight off, and found my husband dead in the chair. He had gone out like a light. Wow. So that was a bit of a shock to suddenly discover yourself as a widow at the age of 43.
Right.
And I quite literally said out loud, this really is the first day of the rest of my life. Not a situation I would wish on anyone, and I certainly didn't wish it on myself. Life has changed dramatically since then, and he wouldn't recognize me for certain, and I wouldn't recognize me back then either. So
I hear you. Oh my gosh. It's crazy. I mean, so when you come back from something like that, share some of the recent experiences you've had that are giving you calls to kind of stop and reassess some more of, these like internal scripts that we manifest to ourselves, and how that has changed over time.
Sure. Well, as a result of, Jeff was the fourth. I lost father-in-law, mother-in-law, brother-in-law, and husband in the space of 10 years. They were all hoarders, and all of their stuff ended up in my house.
Oh no! Oh no!
Oh yeah!
I have some family members who are hoarders too, so I know exactly what you mean.
So we're talking the equivalent of, your tax receipts back to 1965, and this was 2000.
Oh dear.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the level I'm talking about. Anyway, so I was reducing 3 homes to 30-sized boxes ahead of going off to Australia, migrating to Australia. And so the shift from the hoarding mentality, because I'd grown up in a family of hoarders and then married into a family of hoarders. There's a match made in
right.
So heavy. So that was one thing, and that happened. I migrated 4 years after Jeff passed. Fast forward 10 years to this January, and things are getting a bit, something's got to change. So I decided it was time for a new adventure. And I went from a half a container, which is what I came out to Australia with, and then 10 years worth of accumulation, down to 20 kilos.
Yeah. And that's where that came from.
That's where I'm at the moment. So the internal scripts that had to be released on that one were
right.
I need to have things, having lost all those people.
Yeah.
I needed things, and I needed stability in terms of my accommodation, where I was living. I needed to know that, absolutely. 10 years in Perth, 2 homes. In the last 5 months since I left Perth, I landed in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia on the 1st of March. I have lived in 10 different places in 5 months.
Wow. Cool. I mean,
so I'm letting that one go. And that's just one of the scripts that I've flipped, as I call it.
Oh, that's fantastic. So now you've learned to let go of the stuff that traps us, right? So you get to ring the victory bell for that. Now, anybody else who's watching on the live, please give us some hearts and some likes. If you're on the live, you thrive. And if you're on the replay, you get to play again. So please share whether you're on the live or on the replay. What are your thoughts on how does it feel to let go of stuff? Marie Kondo talked about that years ago, about how to condify your life, how to let go of things that are not giving you joy. Even my sister up in New York, she's an amazing home organizer. She's a brilliant businesswoman, and she helps people organize their homes and to get rid of things that don't serve them. And I think part of that was, I know family members, obviously, that who hoard. So I think that's partially the reason why she started that business. So now, what are you working on at the moment?
What I'm working on at the moment is my book, My Life with 20 Kilos. Now, this is not only letting go of the physical stuff.
Yeah.
I mentioned the internal scripts. There have been so much growth in terms of the internal baggage that I've let go of as well.
Yeah.
And the third side of it I'm looking at is the spiritual side of things. So there's the physical, the mental stuff, and the spiritual stuff. So what is it? For me, it's more about conscious living. All of the stuff that I'd inherited, both conditioning and physical stuff, consciously deciding what I can let go of. You were saying about Marie Kondo. When does this bring me joy? When I was coming over to Australia, I literally held everything in my hand and went, "Are you coming to the other side of the world with me?" So it's really, I'm loving the fact that you brought that one out.
Gotcha.
So
wow, that's amazing.
Where I'm coming to, from the physical, mental, and spiritual side, being more conscious about living, and that's the book I'm in the process of writing.
I love it. So let's shift gears a little bit, talk a little bit about more the personal side, what I call the softer side of Sears, and really get to know you as a person. So now, like I know in the future, you're going to have a link for your book. When that comes out, audience, make sure you click down below in the show notes or in the banner or in the podcast. It'll be below in the chat or whatever. So like you guys are a smart audience. I know you can find it. So this is me just pointing it out. Make sure you find it and make sure you click on our book link. So tell us a little bit about, growing up. Was there a film that helped inspire you and become who you are today? A film or a book? Mm-hmm. Movie?
That's a good
book?
question.
Yeah.
Good question.
Not a movie, then how about a book? What has inspired you in recent
Well,
years?
I mean, I loved Mary Poppins, and I can pretty much go through the entire dialogue with you.
Yeah.
I love Mary Poppins. Practically perfect in every way,
Yep. Mm-hmm. You know what's funny?
So
the follow-up to that, Mr. Banks, where like Disney talks about how they actually had to get the story from her and why it was so hard for her to let go. And that's a great sort of a twist at the end when you finally realize what's really happening. And so I would highly recommend, if you loved Mary Poppins, definitely watch Mr. Banks and try to find out why.
Finding Mr. Banks. Yes.
Finding Mr. Banks. Yeah. Now, what about what's your favorite kind of music? What do you like to jam to?
Oh my word, totally eclectic. In fact, that was the last conversation I had with my husband before he died. We were having the team that I belong to as a speech pathologist. We were having a team development day, a building day, and we were all asked to bring in a CD cover, and they were all going to be up anonymously. And the idea was that you should be able to work out who it was from their CD cover. And I was discussing this with my husband, saying, well, I got such eclectic taste in music. And in the end, we were talking about Q's Juke Joint. I don't know if you know that.
I don't know
it's really sort of funky stuff. It's
really okay.
But at the same time, because I mean, one of the other albums that we were discussing was the Fauré Requiem. So you see,
I love it. I
do have very eclectic taste when it comes to music.
I'm with you there, because I know I like everything from like hip hop and rap to some of the pop stuff, like some of the more country stuff that's not as twangy is now becoming like the mainstream stuff. It's like, it's really good. And then I remember I listen to like Luke Combs and how he's really like arisen. My daughter's now a huge Taylor Swift, so Swifties unite. I'm in my dad era, and that's never changing. And but I'm also into opera, and I love Broadway musicals. My gosh, I loved getting into Phantom of the Opera, Les Mis, Miss Saigon. Those are the earlier days, in the heydays. When I think when I was in college, those were the big things around then. And I remember in more recent years, Hamilton, Wicked. There's another one with oh God, what was the name of it? It was about the aftermath of 9/11 by, what was his name? I think Adam Guan, I think his name was, and he wrote a beautiful thing. And I remember I had listened to somebody sing it, and it just moved me almost to tears. It was just beautiful. So what's a fun fact about you that maybe people don't know?
On the musical front, I almost got arrested in Verona for singing at the opera.
Are you?
Now,
Verona, New Jersey, or Verona in Europe? Oh my gosh.
Yes. It wasn't a solo effort. We were a chamber choir busking our way around Europe. Oh God, this is 1982, so a while ago. And we happened to land ourselves in Verona, and when in Verona, of course, you have to go to the open air amphitheatre, Roman amphitheatre, to go to the opera.
Sure.
And we were going off to see Macbeth, sort of, when shall we three meet again?
Yep.
And on the way there, we had gone through an electric storm. We had pink and blue double fork lightning. It was all very dramatic. When we got there, we were just sitting down on these massive great cushions on those stone steps, because it still is a Roman amphitheatre. Yeah. And the heavens opened. And of course, we were then in the middle of a storm, and the hailstones were coming down golf ball sized.
Oh, man. Woof.
That hurt. So we're then sheltering in the rampart. So we're sheltering in the rampart and waiting for the storm to pass. Mm-hmm. And what do you do when you're there? If you're a bit of a choir, you start singing. And so we were. And we've got two lots of people. We've got the folks saying cante, cante. And we've got the carabinieri with the guns going, silenzio. They've got guns. They've got guns. Cante. I think we'll go with the silenzio.
That's good. All right. Beautiful. Now, tell me, what is your favorite kind of food?
Oh, golly, Indian.
Yes? Oh, my God. So you're definitely coming over to our house. So anytime you pop over on the East Coast around Philadelphia, just come over to our house. My wife is an amazing cook. And if I'm nice to her, she will cook us something amazing. And everything she makes just tastes awesome. So, but here's what I'm going to do. Okay. Ready? Here, let me call the next Indian restaurant. Hello, Taste of India. Yeah, like we need a palette of like, what's your favorite? Tandoori chicken.
All sorts. You see, on my bucket list.
All right.
On my bucket list is a food tour of India.
Ooh, nice. I love it. All right. So I just totally made that real phone call. They're gonna stock you in the green room with plenty of food. Make sure you save me some. And I will see you shortly as we switch over to our next segment. All right, folks. Mm-hmm. So while she's enjoying all of her amazing food, I want to ask you something here. If you want to expand your business, make sure that you always get a current marketing reel. If you don't have one yet, here's an example of what we can do for you. When you throw a rock into a lake, what happens? No, there's a splash. You make an impact, and then you get waves. And then you don't know where those waves are going. Those waves are going past around the reeds, and you don't know where that impact is. So all of you out there, when you're on stage, you don't know where your impact is going to end. It's never going to end. All right, folks. So in today's segment, in our 60-second mind shift for today, we share our sponsor down below. It's Talkadot.pro. It's a fantastic CRM that helps you to track your clients after you give a talk or a speech on stage. So definitely, if you're a speaker and if you want to be taken seriously, you need to grab it because it will help you build your business. Just with one client signing up, I made a nice payback already with it. So it's worth every penny. Definitely check it out. And there's a link, and it'll also be downstairs in the show notes. So, folks, let me show you also now. We talked about hoarding. And what is that mindset of a hoarder? And how is it that we let go of things? And I'll tell you what, one of the hardest things for people to let go, especially once you've lost a loved one, is that you lose that attachment because you think it's a piece of what was part of your life previously. And the fear is that if you lose this, you lose the memory of the person. I would like to say that for us, it's hard for us too. I have a lot of things in my office here, but we just had to sell our minivan, our vehicle, after 12 years. And it was fantastic. I call her a Vanessa, the van. So our Honda Odyssey, we bought it when my daughter was born. So like Vanessa was the same age as my daughter. It was hard to let go. And once I sold it and we got the money and then everything's over. It's just a sense of relief. So I would highly encourage any of you that are stuck in emotional torment about letting go of something, go back to like a Maria Kondo and start asking that sort of Kondo system of like, is this thing bringing me joy? Is it bringing me purpose? Are you actually using it? If there's something that you have not used in over a year, you probably don't need it. And that's not including seasonal things. You may bring out like a winter coat every year and then store it during the summer. That's okay. But if there's something that you haven't used in more than a year, you probably don't need it. And on top of that, if you're able to donate it, you can get a tax rebate. And on top of that, you can give joy to somebody else who really needs it. So just think about that. Think about what is one small bag. Now, I had a friend in Toastmasters who worked on trying to do 30 bags because she had a big house. So she would take one trash bag every single day, just try to fill it with things that she could get rid of out of the house. In 1 month, she got through 27 bags of items because she just purposely said one bag a day and just see where it goes. She actually went up almost the whole month and she got through 27 bags. So her life is less free, is less cluttered and more enjoyable. And on top of that, don't forget this, the items you have in your home end up owning you because the more things you have, it costs you 15% more to heat or to cool your home. I've talked to an energy efficient expert at Pico, and that's what they told me. 15% more cost to keep the things that you are not using. So think about that. So without any further delay, if you enjoyed that, make sure you tune in. Make sure you also, once again, there's that gift at the bottom. Make sure you grab that link and start to use your own CRM and start to show other people how professional you are as a speaker. All right, folks, let's bring Wendy back because I'm sure at this point, maybe I hope she's saving some food. So Wendy, how's the food and did you save me any?
There's a little bit left.
Not the first time. It's okay. So Wendy, what do you think about a 60-second mind shift and what would you add to it?
Well, I can tell you that I have released an awful lot of stuff. And as I released it, particularly, as you say, if it was going for, we have an op shop here in Australia. We call them op shops. They're thrift stores, I think you call them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Then I've released them with love. I've literally put my hand on my heart. If it's a small item, held it to me and gone, thank you. It's now time for you to go and bless somebody else, and then given it over. If it's something that's been particularly important to me, like I couldn't bring it with my 20 kilos, I've taken a digital photo. Can't carry it with me.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. All right. So there you go, folks. You found ways that you can also declutter your life and keep some of that joy with you digitally. So take it from the Wendy, the Wonder Woman, at how to live your life in 20 kilos. It's possible. So we'll put her link down below again. Don't forget, make sure you grab her book. And for everybody else over here, thank you so much for being here and being amazing. I want to ask you one last question, Wendy, before we close out. I want to give you a blank check and said you had unlimited resources. What would be your grand vision to change the world?
I'm sorry, you're going to have to repeat that. I'm struggling to hear. There's some background noise that I'm struggling to hear your voice over.
There you go. All right. What would be, if someone gave you a blank check, what would be your grand vision to change the world? Unlimited resources. What would you do?
Oh gosh, yes. I would probably carry on doing what I'm doing, to be perfectly honest, in terms of we're very often imprisoned by what goes on between our ears. And I think the best way of being able to set people free is to do the work that you're doing and the work that I'm doing in terms of releasing those imprisoning mind internal scripts, as I call them. Not all of them are imprisoning, which is why I don't call them limiting beliefs.
Yeah.
But yes, if I could use my blank check to impact more people in that way through my own work and empowering other speakers to pass their message off and ripples go out from there, that is what I would do.
Fantastic. All right. Thank you so much, Wendy Corner, for being here. You are truly amazing and you've really impacted a lot of people in your life. Keep on going that. I would have thought you would have said with your blank check, you would now make it 40 kilos to travel with. You travel around the world, giving giving away cash to everybody. But everybody else who's watching, thank you so much. You've been amazing. And this is Coach Raja. And as always, believe it and become it. See you next time.
Bye.
All right. Quick questions for you, follow up. And what was your favorite part of being on the show today?
Just your beautiful questioning.
Thank you. And what was your the biggest takeaway today from any part of the training?
I think the fact that we're both in the mindset stuff, the importance of making those shifts, because when you make that tiny little shift, I mean, we were talking about internal scripts. I thought also think about the software. You think about a line of code. If you get a full stop where there should be an underscore, that one character can totally knock it off. And if you can change just one thing in there, the domino effect is phenomenal.
It is. For those of you that are still watching on the live or on the replay, grab your free gift down below at victorymindsetacademy.com. And last question for you: would you recommend me on somebody else's stage?
Oh, yes. Well, for one thing, you're going to come on mine.
Absolutely. So there we go. Woo! The circle is complete.
Yes.
All right,
From page to stage.
Everybody. All right. Fantastic. From page to stage. I love it. All right, folks. Thanks so much for being here. And we'll see you on the podcast afterwards. Take care.